Hello dear students, very good morning to all of you. Welcome you all to English literature class. But before that, I would hope that you all are doing very well and enjoying these online classes. Today we will proceed further with chapter 4, Jim. Okay, in the Huckleberries, in the adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Right? So far we have studied in the story. Jim had run away from his father's captivity and has arrived Jackson's Island. Okay? And there he also finds his father and other people are in search of his dead body. And soon they give up, which gives Jim relief. Okay? That his father will no longer come after him. Next stays on the Jackson's Island for 3 days and nights. And on 4th day, he decides to go and see the whole island, inspect the whole island. If there is anybody, he should be careful of. If he gets something to eat there, if there is anybody who is his enemy, okay. And he suddenly, as he is walking, he suddenly steps on hot ash, means hot fire, okay, which is left by a camper, okay. So he is very much frightened to think just that someone apart from him is staying on the island. Without making any sound, very carefully, stealthily, he comes back. Okay? And that night he hardly sleeps. Okay? And during the sleep also he wakes up with a deadly dream, with a horrible dream, with nightmare. Okay, that someone is pressing his throat and killing him. Anyhow, he passed that night, but very morning, he decides that very morning he leaves in search of the person who is living there on this island apart from him. Okay, he takes his gun for his protection. Now, he finds that it's nobody but his good friend, Miss Watson's slave Jim. He is very much happy to find someone known to him and someone very close to his heart. Okay? But Jim can't believe that's real Huckleberry, because he had heard that Huckleberry has been murdered, and he thinks that it is nobody but ghost of Huckleberry. Now read further. "Hello, Jim," I called out. Means, who is I here? Huckleberry. Huckleberry wishes Jim. He fairly jumped and stared widely at me. And when he hears somebody is calling him by his name, Jim becomes very surprised, and there was a very wild expression on his face. He cannot believe that a real Huckleberry. He thinks that Huckleberry is ghost, and he is very much frightened as well. Okay. So Jim falls on his knee and starts begging in front of Huckleberry to leave him. And he also gives many logics that he has never heard a ghost in his whole life. And when Huckleberry was alive, both of them were good friends. Okay. And in this way he is begging in front of Huckleberry not to harm him. Now, it took some time to make Jim realize. Realize means understand. Okay? It took long time actually. It took long time for Huckleberry to convince Jim that it was real Huckleberry, not his ghost. He just looked at me, but he couldn't believe. But he cannot believe. He is just looking at Huckleberry silently. He cannot believe how the person who has been murdered can come alive. But when he understood that I really was alive, he was full of joy. But when he really understands that Huckleberry is alive, he is on the ninth cloud. What is the meaning of ninth clouds? It means be on the ninth clouds. It means be very happy. It means be overjoyed. Okay. Now afterwards, Huckleberry tells Jim that it's very late of the day and they should have breakfast and Jim should prepare for that. Now we went over to canoe while Jim built a fire in an open place among the trees. Okay. I fetched cornmeal and bacon and coffee, a coffee pot and frying pan from the canoe. Now, by telling Jim to build fire, Huckleberry goes to his canoe and brings eating materials and frying pan and coffee pot also. What are things Huckleberry brings from the canoe? See. Fetched means brought. Okay. Fetched means brought. Fetched. Brought. Fetch means searched and brought actually. Now he brought cornmeal, bacon. What is bacon? This is a dried pork. Okay. Bacon is dried pork. Bacon, dried and salted pork. That's good. Okay. So he brought cornmeal, bacon, coffee pot and frying pan. But Jim was quite taken aback at the spectacle. What is taken aback? Very surprised. Taken aback means very surprised. Okay. Taken aback means very surprised. So Jim was very much surprised to see all those things. He cannot believe that in so much lonely place he will get so good things to eat. He thought that everything was coming by magic. Okay, he thought that Huckleberry was applying magic and he was bringing everything. Witchcraft means magic. A spectacle means seen, that sight. I caught a good sized catfish too. And then Huckleberry catches a very big sized fish, catfish. Okay, also. And Jim cleaned that fish with knife and make fry of that fish. Okay. By and by Jim said, "Look here, Huck, who was killed in that cabin since it wasn't you?" Now there is still question on Jim's mind, and he wants to know from Huck, if Huck was not killed, then who was murdered in that cabin? And then Huck tells about his trick, what he applied to run away from his father. Okay. I told him everything and he said it was a real smart trick on my part. Now Jim also asks him about Jim, how he came here. Okay. Now Jim tells the reason. But before that he makes him to promise that he will tell nobody. this secret. And Huckleberry agrees. Then Jim says, now it is this way. Started Jim, my missus. Missus means mistress. That is, who is mistress of Jim? Miss Watson. Treated me rather rough. Though Miss Watson means Jim's missus treated Jim very roughly, he stayed with her. But one night, the late one night, I overheard the missus. Who is I? Jim is I here. I overheard the missus tell the widow Douglas that the trader had offered her $800 for me. She really did not want to sell me, but it was a large amount, and he had agreed. I waited to hear no more, but ran away pretty quick. Pretty means very quick. Pretty quick means very quick, I tell you. Now one late night, Jim hears his missus, means mistress, Miss Watson talking to widow Douglas that a slave trader has agreed to buy Jim for $800. And as the amount is very much, so Miss Watson is going to sell Jim to that trader. On hearing that, Jim runs away from there quickly. So you have heard Jim and Huckleberry both have told each other a story of their running away from them. That's all today. We'll read next in the next video. Thank you. Happy learning. Bye-bye.